Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new dragging video. Today's video is inspired by those UK versus USA food videos that are on Business Insider. You know, they'll do comparisons of British sweets and American sweets, and or people do comparisons of McDonald's in the UK and McDonald's in America. So I thought we could do a dragging version of that. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start off here at the Big H Madison Avenue flagship in New York, in America. Rude and incompetent staff who honestly need to be fired and replaced for the most part. They're hardly pleasant when you spend thousands of dollars. There's always an air of irritation, but the mask really comes off when you simply need to exchange an item. There is no return in store. I was ushered from one floor to the other, each essay looking dazzled and confused why I wanted to exchange something. They ran in front of me to call the store manager, acting like children without a parent. When the manager finally showed up, she found an outlandish excuse that the belt had a hairline scratch. I frankly never took it out of the box since I bought it 10 days ago. I laughed and walked away. If they at least offered me some polite exchange, I probably would have bought another color. But this self-important, pompous attitude and acting like hang on, wait, this self-important pompous attitude and acting like this when I spend thousands of dollars is disrespectful and downright disgusting. You know, it's really interesting because that's been a huge theme when I was collecting the dragging experiences for this episode. The contempt that they have if they don't know you and you're coming to exchange something. It's different if they know you and you have a long purchase history, particularly at Big H. Big H really dislikes casual tourist shoppers who they don't know. They're like, you're coming in here to exchange a pair of shoes. We're really irritated because they're not making a sale. And I would imagine at this boutique, which is the flagship store for the entire US, I can imagine there's a lot of competition here. So if you're going to try and exchange something, I think here you get, store credit for a refund or whatever. They're going to be very, very, very annoyed to see they're trying to exchange something or trying to ask for a refund. The next one is the same location. Unfortunately, it's a disaster of a place. The essays are dressed in black and are unpleasant and arrogant. Touching the merchandise is strictly prohibited. There are signs that say touch with your eyes only, just like Paris. Taking pictures of the items is also not allowed. This restriction applies to essays. To essays as well. As people, they're not allowed to send images to clients. The store is overstaffed. If someone wants to know the price of an item, help is only available. When an essay has time to come over, the clothes on display are wrinkled and unappealing. There are too many managers, very arrogant and nasty. Many essays seem more focused on socializing than helping clients. Additionally, the branch in Wall Street has been locked for up to a year. The employees seem lazy, preferring to keep the door shut. Thankfully, I went to Goya, and then she goes on to talk about that. Unless should consider returning to making items for animals as they clearly struggle for customer service for human beings. And that's very funny. That's a nice little clapback. I like that. I should return to making things for animals. That's hysterical. They still do, girl. They still make them saddles. Here's the thing. Again, I am not going to a boutique like this and expecting them to roll up the red carpet for me. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if maybe I have very low expectations. I'm very realistic about what kind of spending I could do in a store like this. I think if you're someone who can go and drop, 50,000 US dollars, 25,000 US dollars, 40,000 USD, I'm sure that they'll be very happy to talk to you. But I think unless you're going to be walking in and you're going to spend 20,000 US dollars, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and you're a tourist, and again, they don't know you. If they know you, they probably don't care about you spending less money. But I feel like if they don't know you, they're just like, why are you here, girl? Why? The next one is the flagship again. I recently visited the Hermes flagship boutique on Madison Avenue in Manhattan to return 3 pairs of Orans. You already know where this is going. When I arrived, the gentleman at the front register on the 3rd floor directed me to the back where I found essay number 1. She says the essay's name. Essay number 1 was helping another client. I waited for him to finish, then I politely asked if he could help me process my return. Without even attempting to help, essay number 1 abruptly said, quote, I think you should go to the front register on this floor. Despite the fact I'd been sent to him, by that very desk. I explained this to him calmly. He then looked me up and down with a level of disdain that was both inappropriate and deeply unprofessional. He muttered something under his breath and let out an audible, ugh, ugh, then walked away. A moment later, I saw him enthusiastically greet another client, loudly exclaiming, "So, how do you like this color?" The contrast in treatment was glaring. I was dismissed and disrespected and essentially made to feel invisible. Um, it's honestly baffling. Some of the essays carry themselves as if they own Hermes, sit on the board of directors. At the end of the day, they're employees representing a brand. This kind of behavior is the antithesis of luxury. Perhaps I needed to walk in carrying a $30,000 bag and to be treated with decency. I remained composed and chose not to escalate the situation. The experience was disappointing. Um, and it was disappointing and a reminder that arrogance, condescension, and elitism still thrives in places where humility and courtesy should prevail. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Hermes is the definition of elitism in luxury fashion. Any person saying that this brand doesn't promote elitism, you are delusional. I don't care how much you click with your essay. I don't care how much you and your essay have a relationship that isn't based on spending because you click together. The brand's whole value is the fact it is an elite luxury super brand that is drenched, honey, in elitism. So, and you knew that because you bought 3 pairs of runs. Now, essay number one was tired. Okay, essay number one is like, girl, please, I know you do not just come up here and I'm dealing with a client who's trying to buy and you want to return, exchange, I beg your pardon, 3 pairs of runs. We've said this before. Big H, honey, does not like if they don't know you, if the brand doesn't know you, as per the dragging videos. Again, this isn't me saying this because I'm the queen of the world and I'm the queen of whatever. No, but based on my dragging videos, if you watch them, Big H does not like people coming in to buy the following products as cold tourists walking in, meaning it's a cold sale, they don't know you, and you aren't trying to build a relationship. They don't like you coming in to buy orans or shoes that are not exotic. They don't like you coming in to buy makeup slash perfume, so they don't like those glam slash perfume purchases. And they also don't like people coming in to buy silks and scarves and fashion jewelry if they don't know you. This obviously they don't know her, and she wanted to exchange. Yes, essay number one's like, girl, please, I'm not making a sale from you, but I'm actually selling to someone else as we speak. I don't have time for this. You can leave. Now, I know what you can say. Yeah, they're being really elitist. We've talked about this before. There was a groundbreaking study done many years ago that proved that the ruder a luxury essay is, the more likely clients will spend money with that essay. And I know that you guys are like, oh, I would never do that. You can't be rude to me. It has been proven time and time again. The ruder the essays are, the more aloof they are, the more, girl, you know, people kind of want to prove that they have the bread to be in the store. My only issue with this person is like, you know, the complaint about elitism and arrogance. That Hermes thrives off elitism and arrogance and being up here. And you knew that. And you were okay with that until you got dragged. So sit your butt down, girl. I came to the boutique today, same location, Madison Avenue, to exchange shoes that didn't fit. You see where we're going here now. Stop going up into Madison Avenue, Big H, to exchange things. No one offered to help me. When I approached an essay, I was told to speak to someone else once they realized I was there for an exchange and a purchase. The whole experience made me feel very uncomfortable. Girl, do not be running up into Madison Avenue Hermes to be exchanging shoes. Go and find your own, like where you bought the shoes, go and exchange them there. I don't agree with going to the Madison Avenue flagship to go and exchange shoes. Okay, the next one is the Louis Vuitton Selfridges boutique in London, the UK. The Louis Vuitton customer service has consistently fallen short over the years. In fact, if it wasn't for my husband's favorite perfume being stocked here, I would stop visiting this boutique altogether. At this store, I experienced one of the most frustrating interactions with LV. I called LV's customer service in the morning to confirm the availability of a perfume. Okay, so basically she goes to Selfridges, they get to Selfridges, and then she's told that they don't have the perfume. When I mentioned that I had called earlier and received confirmation, she said, well, we just ran out. Her response didn't feel genuine and lacked any real empathy. Confused and disappointed, I called customer service again. Surprisingly, the customer service advisor said the perfume was listed. I returned to the counter and asked to speak with the manager. The staff was deflecting, asking why I wanted to speak with the manager. When I insisted, another employee interjected, claiming there was no manager available, but she could help. I explained the situation. Rather taking ownership, she offered vague and conflicting explanations, first saying that she would triple check, then saying the perfume had been out of stock for days. She then asked me to prove I had called, which I did by showing the number. After seeing it, she abruptly claimed to believe me. However, and she said that she'd call customer service. However, instead of calling, she appeared to type a message on her phone, clearly stalling. I then called customer service. The representative put me on hold, checked the system, told me that the item was no longer in stock, contradicting the previous confirmations I had received. The entire experience was disappointing, confusing, and frankly unacceptable. I'm left unsure where the breakdown occurred. I feel disrespected, misled, and unvalued. I feel bad for this person, but honestly, um, the Selfridges, Louis Vuitton, anyone who's been there knows exactly what I mean by this. I've been there on the previous trip in 2023 when I was in the UK with my husband on holiday. It's very busy. I remember we popped into Selfridges just so I could show Edwin, and we were milling around, and he was like, oh, there's Louis Vuitton, let's have a look. And he was like, it's rammed. It was absolutely rammed. It's completely rammed in there. So I think trying to get someone's attention to buy a perfume is going to be hard. It is rammed in there. Again, I just wouldn't stress myself. I would just order it online or go to a less busy Louis Vuitton. The Louis Vuitton in Selfridges is absolutely packed to the ceiling with customers and clients. So it's going to be tough to get attention there for like a small purchase, whereas maybe a boutique that has less foot traffic, you might get that more luxury experience. Pertaining to the communication breakdown, I actually have a theory about this, and you guys can tell me what you think about my theory. Many years ago, when I first started posting this content, I remember when I went on that trip to Paris and I met a CA at Louis Vuitton who was very money driven. This CA, you could tell, like, he wanted to see like how much money you can spend, which I have no issue with. I remember asking him, and I've shared this story before about exotics, and I was like, what happens if like there's an exotic in Madrid, right? Because they can see, the whole EU. What if there's an exotic in Madrid? Or there's an exotic in Monte Carlo or in the Saint-Tropez Louis Vuittons, but I'm here at the Paris Champs-Élysées. And he said for exotics and hard-sided pieces, they can basically get the piece like sent. So those like really expensive pieces, so like the exotics and the really expensive hard-sided pieces, and presumably the super expensive jewelry. Let's say it's not in any of the Parisian stores, but the one you want is in like Saint-Tropez in the south of France, or is in Monte Carlo in Monaco, or is in Madrid in Spain, wherever in Europe, they will send for it to come to the store, and then you can purchase it. Now, presumably they do that if they're sure that you're going to buy it today. And presumably, I think what he meant, and I definitely got the impression that he was implying, if you see an exotic you like and it's in Bordeaux, for example, in the boutique in Bordeaux, or it's in the Louis Vuitton Marseille store, they're going to need a proof of payment. They're going to maybe need you to pay for the whole thing. Maybe you can pay for a portion of it, and then they're going to send it to you. They're not going to be like, oh, you have to go to the Marseille store. Now, I can guarantee you, if that was a canvas handbag, they would tell you to go there and go buy it. You know what I mean? Frankly, even if it was like a Torillon leather capucine, they wouldn't. But for the exotics and those like super expensive pieces, they will. So I say that to say that they know where the stock is at all times. I think sometimes maybe there are communication breakdowns, and in this case, maybe there was a communication breakdown. But Louis Vuitton is the number one luxury brand in the world by revenues. 20 billion euros a year. You don't get to 20 billion euros a year if you don't know how to communicate between stores and between customer service online and the in-store essays. I think that here the mistake was made by the online customer service, because when she went back, the customer service was like, oh, it's not there. They made a mistake. And then she goes to the store and the perfume wasn't there. All of this could have been avoided if she had gone to a less busy boutique or just ordered it online. I understand wanting to go to the store though and have that in-store experience, because I love going to shops. Same location, Louis Vuitton Selfridges. Might be a harsh rating, but the service here is really bad. I went in with my girlfriend to buy a perfume. You see where we're going with this? We approached the lady with an iPad to see what was in stock. We were told it was there, but there'd be a 15-minute wait. Okay, so then they're given the text message thing to wait, whatever. 45 minutes go by, no confirmation text comes in. We go back to Selfridges to check in with the iPad lady, and we're told she texted us ages ago. This seems unlikely to me. Unfortunately, the customer service did not improve from there. We were passed on to a rather condescending SA who seemed wanted to get rid of us and get us out of the store. As soon as he quickly could, he offered no perfume samples, which may seem like a pedantic complaint, but I've received samples from purchasing cheaper LV products in the past, so that struck me as odd. Again, I think it's just one of those things, these girls, honey, they don't like you buying perfume. And I have my own story. I remember buying the Attract Rev perfume from the Kusama, with the Kusama print all those years ago now. Feels like that collab was years ago. And it was at the Joburg store. And I remember meeting a CA there. And I remember thinking she was so nice. I remember she was like, yeah, here's my contacts. Like the next time, like, she made it seem like she really wanted to build like relationships and connections, okay, with other African luxury consumers, because that's the whole point of those boutiques. Is the Joburg Louis Vuitton and the Cape Town Louis Vuitton are meant to serve all of sub-Saharan Africa, right? And at this time, I was still kind of believing the relationship stuff. I hadn't fully understood that it is bullshit, okay? And then the next time when I went to South Africa, I contacted her and she completely blanked me. She still works there to this day, and she has worked at Louis Vuitton on the African continent for as long as LV has been in Africa. She has worked at Louis Vuitton in Africa, and she completely ghosted me. I remember my husband was like, I don't understand. Like, what is this? Like, why bother doing this? So, and of course, later, then me understanding the way luxury brands work, they don't care about you making like a small purchase, like a perfume. Like, they just don't care. Like a perfume purchase, I think for them is just not. It's just, I think that it's like, okay, let me just be super nice and be really fake and give her the impression I'm going to reply to her messages, but actually I have no interest in ever responding to this person again because they didn't spend enough money. And it's a cold, harsh truth, but it's the truth, and I'd rather live in the truth. So after that experience, I remember speaking to a Glamazon who's from South Africa who knows a lot about the boutiques. So shout out to you, you know who you are. And the Glamazon was explaining the sort of the dynamics of the Johannesburg boutique and how things work in the Joburg store. After speaking to this Glamazon, I was like, oh my God, yeah, like a perfume purchase is just not, it's nothing to them, it's pennies, they don't care. Again, I'm very realistic about how I should be treated. If I spend a lot of money, yes, I'm going to need you to be very nice to me. I'm going to need you to open up a bottle of Moet and Veuve Clicquot. Yes, God. Yes, God. But, if I'm just buying something small like a perfume, I don't expect you to like move and rearrange the solar system. So I think people also need to be realistic. I think that's really important. The next one is the Louis Vuitton boutique in Harrods in London. I went into LV at Harrods with the intention of buying a bag. After being told to wait 20 minutes, it ended up being an hour. The SA only introduced herself to me. She completely ignored my boyfriend and spent more time yawning and checking her phone. She didn't ask me a single question, and it felt like she didn't take me seriously as a customer. When I decided not to buy the bag, there was no attempt to salvage the experience. This isn't the level of luxury you expect when buying luxury items. No, sorry, this isn't the level of service you expect when buying luxury items. I don't know about this one because I just feel like you didn't buy the bag anyway. You were given the chance to buy the bag, but you didn't buy it. And now you want her to convince you to buy it. I mean, don't play around with people's jobs. This is someone's job. This is how they make a living. But I must say, I do think SAs, particularly ones with a lot of experience, they can tell if you're going to buy or not. Some of them have a radar. Some of them have this innate radar from years of experience of doing luxury retail, where they can tell if you're going to buy today or not. Probably knew she wasn't going to buy anything. And maybe deep down she knew she wasn't going to buy anything, but she's mad that the SA didn't care. Also, we don't know if it was a canvas bag or not. I feel like if it was a Capucine, the SA would have worked really hard to sell that bag because they're very invested in selling those bags. The next one is the Louis Vuitton boutique at the Royal Exchange in London, in the financial district of London. I've been an LV client for over a decade, thanks to Westminster Council. I love this person already. They're already having a moan about the council. Thanks to Westminster Council, parking is a total nightmare as I've stopped traveling to central London boutiques. Okay, this person's rich. They have a car in central London. I've been to the London City store twice. On both occasions, I was met with snooty behaviour. They say London City, but they mean this one, the Royal Exchange. It's just another way of saying it. I was met with snooty behavior and a sour tone and arrogance. The staff urgently need reminding that looking down their noses doesn't define luxury. It's your manners and courtesy and decorum. The poor behavior on display screams cheap and tacky. Customers are not stupid. Staff need to stop behaving like they own the brand. Went to the boutique where my weight was commented on. I'm a 5'11" man and my waist size is a 30. However, the employee insinuated I was, quote, overweight and may put on further weight, so I should consider upsizing. When did SAs become healthcare professionals? And I'm sorry, but who asked for your opinion? You're earning peanuts. I earn peanuts too. They don't earn peanuts at Louis Vuitton. I think this is something Louis Vuitton pays more than other like luxury brands for SAs. I earned peanuts too once upon a time. Get your head out of your backside and have some respect. First of all, I like this person. This person had a moan about the council in their review. The London town people, drop comments below so that everyone from other parts of the world understands that he was having a moan about the council. This boutique is gonna be really like a tough like store because it's the one in the Royal Exchange, so the one near the financial district of London, where all the bankers and investment bankers and financiers and the sort of captains of industry, if you will, that's where they all work. So it's targeting them. So I can imagine it must make a ton of cash. Yeah, I mean, look, I think some of this stuff is cultural. I must say, I do think in the UK it would be odd if an essay would comment on how, like, if you're like, if you put on weight or something. I think that I would be a little bit taken aback, but that I would just ignore the person and just keep it moving. I don't remember where I read this, but I think it was in a Facebook group or on a like message board or something. But someone was saying something like they'd gone to Big H in Paris, and they were looking at swimsuits or something. And then it might have been the Purse Forum, actually. It might have been the Purse Forum or a Facebook page. I remember seeing it somewhere. And they'd gone to like buy swimsuits. And they were like, they wanted to try on the swimsuits. And then the essay, the Big H essay in Paris is like, why don't you get a size bigger to accommodate the baby so the baby has room to grow? The person was not pregnant. It just puts on weight. Listen. It's not as like odd as it sounds. Like people do make comments on how people look and weight and stuff. And I know many of you are going to have a moan about it as well, and you're going to complain about it, and that is absolutely fine. I mean, in Tanzania, people are absolutely going to comment on your weight. Like if you hear people comment on weight like it's nothing, and trust me, getting triggered about it makes people comment even more. Like here, people do comment on weight, even if people don't even really know you. Like I remember, like I my weight fluctuates a lot, like throughout the years of filming. There are times when I lose a lot of weight. There are times when I gain a lot. It just depends what's happening in my life. And I remember once just being out with my husband, we were getting lunch. This is before becoming a mom. And I remember there was like an acquaintance of ours. They're not friends, they're acquaintances. And one of them was like, oh my God, Kigami, you've put on so much weight. You're so big. The word they use is a Swahili word, mbonge. It's a Swahili word, and basically it means like, you're like, basically it means you're fat. And basically he kind of diffused the situation. I'm just translating from what he said in Swahili. It sounds much better in Swahili. Basically he was saying, my girl's a bachi. Don't talk about my girl like that. And he's like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. You know what I mean? But it's common for people to comment on weight, particularly in countries like mine, where our culture is very direct and very blunt. And again, I don't think the essay should comment on the person's weight at Louis Vuitton. Like, you don't know that person in the London store, but I do think a lot of this is cultural. In other cultures, it isn't seen as rude to like comment on someone's weight. Likewise, if you lose a ton of weight, people are like, oh my God, wow, you look so snatched. You've lost a ton of weight. You know what I mean? Over the years, I've learned not to take it too seriously, and I just shrug it off and brush it off and keep it moving. So I think that this person would do well to do the same. The next, but just to be clear, I'm not okay with it, and it's happened to me many times. So don't worry, I can empathize with this person. The next one is the Chanel boutique in Miami, in Florida, in America. This was a really bad experience. I was in Miami visiting a friend. We went into Chanel to buy a pair of sunglasses that we both loved. There were a group of essays just talking to each other. They were in there for about 5 minutes. They're like, trying to get attention. We asked an essay if she could help. She decided to talk to the other essay, and they were arguing about who wanted to help us, which I thought was really unprofessional. We then left to shop elsewhere. We decided we decided we'd go elsewhere. So okay, so they go away, then they come back. And then we come back and we said that we were in the store earlier looking and no one came to help us. And then we asked other essays to help, and then they were trying to argue who wanted the sale. Her response was okay, and my friend then said, you know what, let's not buy these sunglasses because I'm all set on dealing with someone who's being rude to the client. The essay laughed at us and walked away. This is truthfully the worst experience at a Chanel store. I recommend any other store in the design district. Again, those smaller purchases, I've made them too. Again, I have very realistic expectations, but I can imagine that this is a store that's very competitive with clients. I don't think it would hurt an essay to be like, let me just run over there and like help. You know what I mean? Let me just run over there and help. But they're just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like they're not trying to help because they don't care. The next one is a Louis Vuitton boutique in Miami, in Florida, in America. I went to LV to buy a bag for my holiday. I get there, the person was greeting me, but said the bag isn't there. I felt like she treated me like I needed her more than she needed me. I'm trying to buy a $3,000 bag. She dismissed me. I looked around the store, I found the bag again. I saw the essay who told me she wasn't going to serve me any champagne while shopping and reviewed the bag I wanted. After I purchased the bag, she told me the next time I come in, she would offer me champagne. If I have an appointment, I recommend going to Aventura Mall or Bar Harbor shops. They treat you with class that you deserve. This was the worst experience that I've had. So I think with this experience, I think something that really jumped out to me about this experience is the fact that the essay didn't trust that this person was a real customer, so didn't want to offer champagne unless the essay was sure that the person was going to buy. So the essay made a mistake because this was a legitimate customer and a real customer. And then after buying, that's when the essay decided to offer champagne. I feel like the essay could have been like, okay, so do you think you're going to take this today? I would ask, hey, do you think you're going to buy this today? Yeah, I think I'm going to pick her up today. Okay, great. Let's do this kind of thing. Next one is the same location. I was visiting for a wedding. My sister and I checked out a couple of malls. Each time we went to the design district, we had a great customer service. The lady downstairs was nice. The lady then said, yeah, go check out the other levels. We go to the second level, nothing jumped out to us. We went to the third level, I saw a bag that I liked. The essay who was working with another customer comes up to the counter and says, I think it's about $6,000 US. But he was still waiting on the other client. I said, thank you, but I was just looking inside. The way he said it was unprofessional, I couldn't afford it. Then I saw the security come up as well. First of all, if I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't be in the store. I own 6 LVs. If I wanted to buy it, I would have. I think that, when this happens, again, it's just that, it's just them basically saying that they don't think that you're going to buy anything today. So they want to it's kind of exerting this kind of psychological pressure by mentioning how much it is. 6,000 USD, that's significant. So I wonder what bag this was, but it's obviously a leather bag. I feel like if it's a leather bag, they should definitely consider being just a bit friendly and a bit warmer. This reminds me of a comment one of the Glamazons left many years ago now, when I first started posting these videos. A Glamazon had left a comment saying that she bought a Louis Vuitton leather bag when Louis Vuitton was beginning to promote leather as the future of the house. And the essay was so friendly, so nice. Oh my god, really, really nice, inviting her to her events and all this stuff. But then moving forward, she didn't want to buy anything more because she was it was really expensive at the time for me. And then once the essay realized that, she wasn't going to buy any more expensive leather bags, and their leather bags are pricey. I think that in the EU, the Capucine and the Torion leather is €5,900. And then once the essay realized that she wasn't going to buy anything more that was an expensive leather bag, then the essay went cold. dumped her, never replied, and it made the Glamazon feel bad. And I remember being like, "Oh, don't take it personally. That happened to me. Like I said, with the Johannesburg experience with the CA. If they feel like you're not going to spend a lot in that moment, they don't want to like build it with you. Now that doesn't mean you're not going to spend in the future, but they really want people to spend a lot today. So I think when in this example, when the essay is like, oh, it's 6,000 USD, the person's just basically just saying like you can't afford it. Um, I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm on the fence about that one. The next one is the Hermes boutique in Palm Beach in Florida in America. Stay away from this store, especially if you're looking to buy bags and build a relationship with an SA. My husband went to SA number one and spent over 6,000 USD in December. I came back in February to make a wish list, and I said I'm open to anything she thinks I like. She said the first time, quote, "Don't worry, you're with me. I'll get you taken care of. Plus you're in the area. I'll get your bag, but be patient. It won't be a 2-year wait, but you have to spend money." Unquote. Fair enough. I've spent well over 14,000 USD since that time. I feel like a fool. She's never reached out to me to say that there's something she thinks I like. Like she knows I like belts. When I spent over 3,000 in 20 minutes, I wasn't given a chair to try on $2,500 loafers. Not even given a beverage. First started with a belt. She wanted to push me out the door after that, and I said I needed shoes. She rolled her eyes. I bought more stuff, actually over 3,600 USD in that visit, and I was walked down the stairs like the building was on fire. I told her in this, I told her in that visit I loved her bracelet, the Kelly bracelet. She said they have a similar one, but it's a lot of money. My husband has bought me a $17,000 Rolex and a $40,000 wedding ring. Your husband is rich, girl. The Kelly bracelet was only 2,000 less than the necklace my husband had bought me there. I told her if he comes there, please show him something similar. My husband's updated my wish list because I just felt like a worthless piece of trash after my last visit. I begged my husband as a VP of sales of one of the largest software companies to use his sales skills. I love their belts, especially the thin ones. She showed me a Kelly belt last time. I said that's not my style. Well, that's what she sold my husband. Hold on, hang on, wait. Basically then her husband goes there again, and then she says, when I told her that I'll let him buy the fine jewelry and I don't really want the costume jewelry, I'm a minimalist, I like to only keep certain pieces. She never showed him any fine jewelry knowing that's what I wanted. I texted her to asking to get an appointment to find home goods. She never answered. I texted her again. She said she has other people coming in for home goods on Mother's Day. It's not a good time. And then the poster puts in brackets, I'm also a mother, by the way, I have children. I could drop 30,000 in one visit and not be bothered if I was sold or shown, but my husband was also rushed out of the door. I know it's Palm Beach, but we are on their level of spenders. We just don't dress up to buy stuff. But my husband has his Rolex Submariner. This has been the worst year for me. I just wanted a diversion. I volunteer at a women's emergency family shelter and I work in surgery. I just wanted to enjoy something. Okay, this is bad. She then talks about how she's had all these issues in her personal life. I would have been thrilled if SA number one put together a home set for me. Now, if you want a Birkin or Kelly, that's a joke. I'd spend 20 and it doesn't feel enough. I already spent $20,000. It hurts. I feel like I'm not good enough. And someone she wanted to fish in to spend $10,000 in loose interest. I heard she does this to multiple people. So basically she's saying like she heard that this lady does this to multiple people. Like gets them to spend a ton of money but doesn't churn a bag. Translation, she tricked the client. And we've talked about this before, how big HSAs trick people. It's very sad and I wish I'd been included and bought more from the store. Do not go, only go in here wearing $3,000 Zimmermann and Cartier. Okay, this is a complex one because it's a very detailed experience. So basically, the essay at the Palm Beach Big H in Florida in America tricked the client. We talked about this before. I know I sound like a crazy person with a conspiracy theory that big H essays I think big H essays, honestly, they convene maybe twice a year. They might have their own internal, like, big HSA meetings where they convene in Paris, in London, in Milan, in New York, where they're like, how many people have we tricked out of Birkin Bay and tricked out of Birkin and Kelly's? Oh, I managed to get someone in Palm Beach to spend 20,000, and her husband spent all this money too, and I tricked them. She was tricked, and it's a very unfortunate experience. I feel like, I feel like her spending sounds good to me from Palm Beach. I've seen documentaries about Palm Beach before. It looks like it's a very, expensive place, but That spending sounds pretty good. 20,000 in 6 months. I mean, it sounds like good spending. So again, very unfortunate. I'm on the side of the client. The person obviously wasn't feeling great about themselves. Wanted a pick me up, like a beautiful luxurious quote bag. Still got dragged and still got, taken for all of their money. And the SA didn't churn a bag. And that is my biggest fear with like going to play the game again in Europe. Like spending money, buying back in Bay, and then being tricked again. I've already been tricked by the French essay at Selfridges. I don't want to be tricked again. The next one is the Hermes boutique in Harrods in London in the UK. Maybe it's time to break up with Hermes. After years of our happy relationship with Hermes, today we left Harrods angry and disappointed. Basically, they were saying how there was a really rude essay who had an attitude. She complained to us about another customer before proceeding to inform us we had 15 people in front of us and it would take an hour. We said no problem, would run errands. After over an hour with no message from Hermes, we've returned to ask about how much longer before they could serve us. The person who put us on the list was avoiding, and she clearly has and then she's made other customers upset. Sometimes they're like typos when people are like writing. Then she gave the tablet to someone else. We tried to approach the SA. The first one with the glasses inserted herself. The other girl could see we were really upset. She informed us that there are 18 people in front of us, which would take an hour. How is it even possible there were 15, then 18? This left us really upset that Hermes is no longer interested in providing loyal customer service. Honestly, the Hermes Harrods is another nightmare. I wouldn't put myself in the queue at Harrods. I think this boutique specifically, I think if you don't have an essay there, I wouldn't invest the time because it's just so busy. It's absolutely rammed. It's completely jam-packed in there with clients, and there's so many people waiting. I don't know. I'm not waiting for 18 people in a virtual queue. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to go about my day. That sounds like a very frustrating experience. The next one is the Hermes boutique at Sloane Street at Cadogan Place. I'm a regular and loyal client of Hermes. I typically enjoy the service. However, I was really disappointed by an experience I had. So basically, she goes on to explain what happened, that she wanted to buy trousers to go with a shirt that she had bought from Hermes. And then she was told by the person at the door that there was a bag delivery that she was expecting. It might come between 10:30 and 11. Went upstairs to look at the trousers. They didn't have what I was looking for. I returned to the ground floor and I sat to wait for the bag delivery as I was told, along with other clients who were seated and waiting. Suddenly, a male SA comes and asks, what are you waiting for? I explained I was told that there's a delivery for bags, and I was told to wait. He then asked me not to wait in the boutique, saying I was, quote, filling the room and he didn't want many people there. His tone was dismissive and rude. He didn't want people seated there, and she was filling the room. What upset me the most was he singled me out, even though several others were waiting. I felt targeted and disrespected. I can't help but take this personally, especially since it's the second time he's behaved like this. To me, as a frequent client of Big H who invests in the Hermes brand, I expect respectful and consistent treatment, not selective or rude behavior. I have to say I agree, and I'm not one to like easily agree with every single dragging review. This is unacceptable. She was told that there is a bag delivery between 10:30 and 11. She went upstairs to buy some ready-to-wear trousers. Obviously, someone with a profile at the brand. So it's not someone who's there to waste time. It's not someone who's trying to get a Birkin or Kelly without buying anything. Yeah, maybe the male SA just wanted to, push her around a little bit, show that he's the one who's running things. Again, some of these people, some people do have like this like superiority complex, and they want to like let you know that they run the situation. Very unfortunate. The next one is the Louis Vuitton boutique in Shepherd's Bush at the Westfields shopping centre in London. I'm very disappointed in my experience at the Louis Vuitton boutique here in Westfields at Shepherd's Bush. The moment we entered, there was no greeting, no acknowledgement. The store manager told us someone would assist us. We were helped by SA number one, who seemed completely disinterested. No eye contact, no warmth, no enthusiasm, just a casual mechanical approach. We were very specific about the bag we wanted. After spending nearly 15 minutes in the store, we decided to purchase a bag worth £2,000. Only then did SA number one offer us water. When I pointed out we'd been in the store for quite a while and no one would offer us anything before, he just simply started laughing. Disgraceful. Shows how arrogant the staff at LV is. Was he waiting for us to buy, then he'd offer us water? Seriously. I expect far better service from LV. Yeah, they do. And you know what? It's a tough one, honestly. I feel for them because this is a genuine client, but I have to say, I do think content creators are the reason why there's a lot of coldness to clients at the moment. Um, if I can be blunt, I watch a lot of content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It's one account, like I said, across social media, where the content creator goes into high-end luxury boutiques, films every single item, doesn't buy a thing, gets essays to show them every single thing that is on display. I've said this before. I think it's fine to do this at department stores. They just have thousands of people milling in every day. So the essays actually don't mind if you try things on and don't buy. They don't mind if you take pictures. The department store essays are very relaxed. They're not pressed at all. But I have seen this content creator, and it's like every single thing is filmed, almost like an inventory of the store, but never purchases anything. The essays are like taking bags out, taking products out, taking very expensive items out to show this content creator. Person never buys nothing, never buys a thing. And I think that that has impacted luxury essays, because I do think that they judge you. They think this person wants to come in here, wants to get me to do, and I'm not saying that they're content creators because they're not content creators, but this person might want me to bring out every single thing so they can look at it and try it on and not buy. I have to say, I think that that is part of it. Social media has made it tougher. There are a lot more people just looking and are not trying to buy today. I have said it before, make it easy on yourself. Only go to these standalone boutiques if you're buying today, and go and browse in department stores. Browsing in department stores is absolutely fine. I found, particularly in Paris, the department store essays at Galeries Lafayette are perfectly happy with you having a look. They don't seem to mind at all. I remember just passing by when I was filming like content, whatever. I put my hand up and say that I was like filming content for you guys. I said I want to film some clips and some videos for the Glamazons. I've already gone to like freestanding stores to buy things that I had wanted for myself at the freestanding store. But I was like, let me just go to Galeries Lafayette and take pictures and film content. I passed by the Boucheron and they were super friendly. I remember passing by and they're like, bonjour, bonjour. I was like, hello. I was like, oh, I'm just looking. They're like, no problem. They were like, if you want to try anything on, it's okay if you want to look, just try stuff on. They were literally telling me to try stuff on. It was the same thing at Max Mara. Please look around, pick something up. They don't care because there's going to be someone after me who's going to come. They're going to spend 100,000 euros. You know what I mean? There's going to be someone who's going to rock up there and spend 50K. There'll be someone who'll rock up there and spend 30 bands. Like it's nothing like that. So I feel like at department stores, they're much more cooler about people taking pictures. In this situation, these people aren't content creators, but they may have gotten the cold shoulder because the essay just isn't sure if they were buying. The essay should have offered water, but I understand. Like being like, you're not going to buy something, just here to look around. And another thing, this boutique is very busy, and this boutique has a much younger demographic. There are more Gen Z clients who shop at this store. I've seen the boutiques. I've been to the shopping center where the store is, and I've seen it. It's very busy. Lots of clients. The next one is the Cartier boutique in New York, the flagship, the Cartier mansion on Fifth Avenue in America. Bizarre customer service. I just left the boutique a few minutes ago after walking around for 30 minutes, intent on buying the Tank Louis watch. Made eye contact with a few essays, and not a single one asked if I needed help. Shocking, considering it was Friday at 5:30 and the store was empty. I'm going to Bulgari instead to buy something. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of these things where I wonder if clients would consider just letting someone know. Sometimes I feel like a client like this, maybe she expects the like essays to come up, and I feel like in Paris they used to, in freestanding stores, particularly at Big H. I remember many years ago they'd come up to you and be like, hey, can I help you? What would you like to buy? Last year, no one came up to me in any of the three stores. It was like, when I first went in 2021/2022, people came up to me, can we help you? Everyone wants to help. And then all the subsequent trips, it's been like less and less people willing to help. So I feel like you have to like ask people, hey, I'd like to buy this watch. Said it before, when you get to the door, I know, to the point where it's become a running joke, and I think I'm going to make merch for us, for the channel. And I might put it on merch. I'm thinking about it. Like, I want to buy something today. It's become like an inside joke for everyone who watches these dragon videos. I'm telling you, when you tell them that, it's like milk and honey in heaven, honey. And St. Peter is standing at the pearly gates with a milk and honey cocktail for you. They love hearing it. It's milk and honey to them. I want to buy the Tank Louis watch today versus you milling around waiting for someone to come up to you like you're the queen bee. Again, I would just make it easier on myself because I don't like stress. The final one is the Cartier boutique at Selfridges in London. Me and my fiance came in to buy an engagement ring. We specified our budget was £5,000. The consultant proceeded to show us the £10,000, £20,000 rings. We reiterated that the budget was £5,000. She said, for your budget, the diamond will be too small. No one will be able to see it, unquote. Then she proceeded to ask condescending questions, trying to humiliate us and show her superiority in technical knowledge. Do you know what diamond clarity is? Do you want VVS1, VVS2, VS1? What color grade do you want? D, E, F, G. Obviously, would never come back. I'll never buy anything from Cartier again. We bought a beautiful heart-shaped engagement ring. Oh, that's cute, from Tiffany & Co. That's nice. Listen. Let me tell you something, yeah? Big Cartier does not want the girls to come in and buy the more affordable engagement rings. There's so many horror stories, we feature them in the Dragon reviews, where Cartier SAs are dragging clients who are coming to buy the more affordable engagement rings, like the solitaires, which are just a little bit more affordable, still gorgeous, still expensive because it's a branded ring. And they're dragging them. I think that this is inappropriate behavior. On the one hand, you could say she's being upfront saying that the diamond's going to be really small, but it's not for her to judge if the diamond, is really small or not for the client. It's for the client to judge if it's really, really small. Do you know what I mean? She's wrong for that. And yeah, I agree with the client. Like, she did try and humiliate them and embarrass them. Like, not everyone is sitting online to know what that stuff is. I don't even know what a color grade F diamond looks like, and I'm pretty plugged into this stuff, and frankly I don't care that much. Like, I think diamonds are gorgeous and beautiful and they're lovely. I think that this is just one of those situations, like, you didn't have to be that rude and you didn't have to make people feel bad about their budget. They were good by being upfront that this was their budget. Still, I would have gone to the website just to double check to see if the budget of rings that I like is there, but definitely there was no need to make them feel bad. It just shamed them for their budget. But on the other hand, maybe she probably didn't think that they were going to buy, which is wrong, because they went and bought a heart-shaped ring. And I've been thinking about these, on a tangent, I've been thinking about these heart-shaped diamond engagement rings. I've seen people say that they're a sign of bad luck, like if you get a heart-shaped engagement ring, that it means that the marriage will end. Do you guys believe that? I saw someone post that on TikTok and they said it was like bad luck. I was like, why? Why is it bad luck? Anyway, that is it of the UK versus the USA luxury dragging special today from your favorite girls, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Big C, honey, big Cartier. Cartier never fails to drag the engagement ring clients. Cartier's like, baby, do not come up in here, okay? If you're not going to spend £50,000 on an engagement ring or £20,000, don't come up in here. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa. What was your favorite story for today? Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sign up for the newsletter, it's linked below, and sign up for the Facebook group as well. Guys, if you go follow me on TikTok, if 10 of you go follow my TikTok and go leave a comment saying, I'm here from your YouTube video, I'll go post a video on TikTok because I need inspiration. Like, if I see you guys follow me there and you like leave nice comments, I will go and film something. You know, my TikTok is more of like my lifestyle and but I'll go film something, so go follow me there as well. And of course, sign up for the newsletter. I would love to see you there. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. God bless you all. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.